Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about something that happened probably like half an hour ago, a little more than that, but I just drove home from work. I had a night shift and it was embarrassing. I looked like an idiot and it really wasn't my fault at all. And you think that would make it better, but it makes it worse. Um, if it honestly was my fault and I was just doing something stupid, I mean, that would be one thing and I could take that on the chin, but being misunderstood always bugs me. And maybe I misinterpreted him misunderstanding me, but I doubt it. um so I take my job seriously. I'm not a lazy guy, but people think I'm a lazy guy sometimes. But I'm not. I work, and I think people think I'm a lazy guy because I'm very monotone and I don't really give much expressions or vibes. I'm kind of just a stiff guy, and I don't know. So maybe it's a personality thing, but anyways, that's not what this is about. What this is about is there's this table. It's like a cocktail table. It's like this little round thing that stands up and people will have like a wine glass on it or something. And it has this plastic coating on it, this black plastic coating with this film. And sometimes on these tables, and this one was included, there's a scratch through it because someone with their key, or if maybe a staff member that moved the table, a knife, anything, I don't know, scratches the thing, and it leaves a big mark. And I put my hand flat on the table and I went like this around, and the restaurant owner looked at me like, holy fuck, look at this guy. He's cleaning the fucking table with his hand. He's not using a rag. He's just this lazy idiot. And I was fucking seeing to see if the fucking table, the film was still intact, because the film was scratched and there was this cup ring, and I was kind of seeing if it was like if that was part of like the bubbling of the plastic that was wrapped around the table with like the branding. So I did come back and I wiped it off, that part, but it was still cut, and I was feeling the top of the table, and he was fucking just looking at me like, look at this fucking idiot. Like, this guy has an IQ of 0 and he's just a piece of shit, and he's getting paid and he's fucking around, and he's just some fucking kid. Like, he's like this 30-year-old man child. That's what everyone sees in me. And then they look at these things that I do like this under the microscope, and it proves their point, even though it's not actually a point. It's just how they view me. And it really fucking sucks. And I don't want to pull out my pseudo-intellectual stuff, but I've been reading this book, Spinoza. I posted a quote. It's relevant to this. I posted it before this happened, and then I read the rest of the chapter, and it's even more relevant, and I might actually read some of this in a later video. But it's all about self-esteem, how people perceive each other, ignorance, and a true free man doesn't care about dying or opinions. And I mean, I should probably take that on more. I should probably not care so much about what people think of me, but in the world we live in, I don't know, these authors, like, if most of these guys were very well off, these authors, I don't know if Spinoza was. I think he lived in poverty for a while, and like, when he was growing up, it's probably more rough than when we were growing up. But I mean, like, I need to care about how people view me because I need to keep my job and I need to keep making money. But it would be better not to care. But there's so much moving pieces and so many opinions, and it's like this big popularity contest. And like, I'm already kind of not a likable guy, to be completely honest, because I'm very stiff and I don't know how to small talk very well, and small talking burns me out and I don't really like to do it. So people kind of just view me as an asshole, and they put me under the microscope. And this reminds me of another job that I had when I was fresh out of school. This was even like I legitimately had something in my head wrong, because I admitted to something that I didn't do, which was completely stupid. But I remember there's these goat cheese platters, and I had them on the scale and I had to weigh them. So I was weighing them and they were all coming out at the proper weight. It was like one scoop to these dishes, and then they're all coming out for the proper weight for maybe like 3 or 4 of them, and I had to do like 20. And then they started going all weird and the weights are wrong. So I couldn't figure it out, because I was a kid, like I was like 17 or something at the time, and not the brightest kid, and I was like really tired and not eating properly and all that. And I just figured that it must not be the scale, it must be the scoop, and or something like that. And I was putting a different amount of scoop in there, and it turned out that the platters were all different platters and they weighed differently. Like they were all like, I don't know how many grams off, but like they were all these white round platters, like these little disc shaped platters, but some of them were heavier, and that's what was throwing it off. And a boss said, "Oh, well, these are all not weighing properly," and I got in shit for it. And I mean, like, I should get in shit for that, because they were off. But I was trying my best to get them on, and I was taking them on and off the scale, and I was like almost panicking about it, and I did care. And then he like sat me down and he said, "Well, what did you think you were doing there?" And I told him I didn't think it would matter. And I don't know why I even said that. Like, it just blurted out, but that wasn't even my thoughts or my opinion. That was me just, I guess, admitting to what he wanted me to admit and just go along with him so he would get out of my face, because it was easier to get him out of my face than to explain it. And I have like flashback memory of that, because this is similar. Like when I did that and he was just staring at me, and I just gave him a thumbs up, like, because I'm not gonna, like, he was not even in the same room, he was down the way, and like he was just staring at me maybe 10 feet away, and like I'm not gonna go up to him and like explain to him that I was just checking the film, because then it makes me look guilty, and then I'm like begging him like not to tell my boss or something. Like, then it just makes me look like I'm actually guilty and proving what he thought of me. So I just have to wait until it blows over and then just hope he forgets about it. And it's like I have to bear this shame that's not even shame, because he saw it wrong. He didn't see what actually was going on. He saw a small clip of it, like the surface layer, and he said in his mind that was this. And I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, I wasn't sure, but I'm 100% sure, because like he was like his face, and then he did like a sarcastic like kiss at me after, like, haha, I got you on the line. Like, fuck, like I don't, anyways, made me feel like shit, man. And these are the daily occurrences of our lives. I think maybe I'm definitely more sensitive than average, I would say, just because of my upbringing and my temperament. So I notice these things, and I probably shouldn't notice these things as much, because they're really bugging me and they don't need to. And this is what caused my big stoner alcoholic phase, where I was really just depressed all the time, and I was just smoking pot and drinking and trying to drink away any conscious thoughts, because all my thoughts are always just shame and guilt, and people aren't thinking highly of me. And unfortunately, a lot of the time it is true that they're not thinking highly of me, but I think I should just not care as much. And then you don't care as much, and then I don't know how that would even make it better. But anyways, I had to make this video. I've been making some of these videos almost like an open diary, just a therapy kind of myself. And I mean, that was very disappointed in that whole situation, and I hate being misunderstood. And I made 2 videos about my boss kind of on my ass about him scapegoating me, and because that was a different video. He had a policy, I followed his policy, then his boss didn't like his policy, so he threw me under the bus on that and scapegoated me. So he's already that kind of boss. And then if these 2 bosses get together, oh, I saw him doing this with his hand on the table, ha ha ha, you're right about him. And now what? Now I'm out of a job, or now that they're going to treat me more and more like a child every day, even though they just have this view of me that has nothing to do with the actuality of what I'm doing there. It's completely absurd. Anyways, thanks for checking out my channel, and more nature videos coming, ASMR, and I get to mow lawns at my other job tomorrow, and that's actually quite nice because I like that. So that'll be something to look forward to. All right, guys.